Today we're going to be talking about DGP Week 8. Our sentence says, Adele's cousin recently took a rafting trip on the Colorado River. The first thing I'm going to look for is for any nouns in this sentence. I see Adele, which is a name, and in this case, it's saying the cousin belonging to Adele. So this is going to be a possessive noun. We're going to put it as a capital N because it is a proper noun. It's an official name. It's not just the cousin. Cousin is going to be a noun as well. It's a person, but it's not a specific person, so it's a common noun. We'll mark it with a lowercase n. Another noun that we have in our sentence is the word trip. It's not a specific trip, and it's not a specific name, so we'll make it a lowercase n for common noun. And we have one other noun. Do you see it? If you were thinking the Colorado River, then you are correct. Because this is the name of a river, we're going to mark them together and we're going to make it a proper noun, capital N. Another type of words in our Monday sentences are articles. Articles are types of adjectives, and there's three of them: a, an, and the. I see the word a in this sentence. This is an article. An article is a specific type of adjective. We have another word in this sentence, the word recently. Recently answers the question, when? When did they take the rafting trip? They took it recently. They recently took. It's modifying the word took. Took is a verb. Therefore, recently is an adverb. Many adverbs end with the letters ly. Another word we have in this sentence is the word on. On is a word that shows relationship to the noun Colorado River. If it's showing relationship to something like on the box, in the box, around the box, it's going to be a preposition. We already went over articles. Do you see the other article in the sentence? It's the word the. Now we're down to two words. We've got took and rafting. They both look like verbs at first glance, but one of them is not functioning as a verb. Which one is the primary verb that goes with cousin? Cousin rafting or cousin took? It's going to be took. So we're going to label this as a V for verb, and we need to figure out if it's an action verb, a linking verb, or a helping verb. Well, I told you that only one of these words is a verb, so it can't be a helping verb because it's not helping. Let's see if it functions as an equal sign. Cousin equals rafting trip. Well, that would be weird. So therefore, it's not a linking verb. It's action. It's showing action, the action of taking something. And is it happening right now, or did it happen in the past? Take would be present, so took is past. And the last thing that we need to mark is the word rafting. It looks like a verb, but it's not a verb. What is it functioning as? What word is it describing? It's describing the word trip. Trip is a noun. If something modifies a noun, it's an adjective. But wait, it looks like a verb. This means it's going to be one of our verbals. We have three kinds of verbals: gerunds, participles, and infinitives. In this case, it looks like a verb, but it's functioning as an adjective. It doesn't start with the word to, like an infinitive would. So it's a participle. You can find that in your Monday notes if you want more information and more examples. Now we're ready for Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're going to look for our subject and our verb of our sentence. We've already labeled our verb on Monday. Don't look at the verbal, look at the verb. We're going to label our verb, took, with a V. We'll find out if it's transitive or intransitive as we keep looking at our sentence. We need to find out what is doing the taking. It's not Adele doing the taking, it's her cousin doing the taking. So we're going to label that as S. Now we need to find out if this is a transitive or an intransitive verb. Before we do that, let's see if we have any prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase starts with a preposition and ends with a noun or a pronoun. On is our preposition. Colorado River is our noun that it ends with. The noun that it ends with is called your object of the preposition. We need to find out if this is an ADV or an ADJ prep phrase. To do that, we're going to ask, what does it modify? Is it cousin on the Colorado River, took on the Colorado River, or rafting trip on the Colorado River? It makes most sense that this would be following the verb took. So it's going to be an ADV prep phrase, took on the Colorado River. Now we're going back and we're finding out if this is going to be a intransitive or a transitive verb. Transitive verbs have a direct object. In this case, we're going to do the subject-verb what test. Our subject is cousin, our verb is took. So we ask, cousin took what? The answer to that would be rafting trip. Cousin took rafting trip. Because trip is going to be our direct object, remember that rafting is just describing the trip, we know that our verb is a transitive verb. It has a direct object. Keep in mind, if that phrase rafting trip was not there, our direct object cannot be in on the Colorado River because that is a prepositional phrase. Direct objects are never a part of a prepositional phrase. The last thing that we need to do is we need to do our underlining. We're going to look for our complete subject, which would be cousin, and any words that describe it. In this case, the word Adele's is describing the cousin. Whose cousin is it? It's Adele's cousin. Go ahead and underline your verb 2 times. And now your complete predicate, or your complete verb, is going to include all the words that describe took. So recently took, and then took what? Took a rafting trip. Where? On the Colorado River. That's all part of your complete predicate. Now we're ready for Wednesday. In Wednesday, we look for our clauses. A clause always consists of a subject plus a verb. If we have more than one subject and verb pairs, then we can have more than one clause. In this sentence, we have the subject, cousin, and we have the primary verb, took. There's no other subjects and verbs in this sentence. We do have a verbal, rafting, our participle, but we don't have any other verbs. So because of that, we know that we're going to start at the very beginning of our sentence, and we're going to go until the sentence makes sense. Adele's cousin recently took a rafting trip on the Colorado River. We could say that our sentence ends here, on rafting trip. But then we have some orphans, and there's no subject and verb inside on the Colorado River. Because of that, we can't leave those orphans, so we're going to move this bracket to the very end of the sentence. If you only have one clause in a sentence, we know for a fact that it's going to be an independent clause. There is no such thing as a sentence that does not have at least one independent clause. We can check this by making sure that this can stand alone as a sentence. Adele's cousin recently took a rafting trip on the Colorado River. It makes complete sense by itself, so it can be a sentence. Now we know that we only have one clause. Is it going to be simple, compound, complex, or compound complex? Anytime we have only one independent clause, it's a simple sentence. And now we need to find the purpose. Is it declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, or imperative? Since it's making a statement, we have a declarative sentence. It's time for Thursday. Now we're going to look at our punctuation and capitalization. We always want to capitalize the first word of every sentence, and I'm going to draw that capital A as well to remind myself. Whenever I have a possessive showing ownership of something or belonging to, we're going to use an apostrophe. Do we have any possessives in this sentence? We do. We have a possessive noun. Whose cousin are we talking about? It's Adele's cousin. So we're going to include an apostrophe. The next thing that we're going to mark is we're going to mark any of our proper nouns with capital letters. In this case, Colorado River is going to be a proper noun. And we want to put some end punctuation here as well. In this case, it's going to be a period because we have a declarative sentence. We're not making an exclamation. We're not asking a question. We're just making a statement. There are no comma rules that apply to this sentence, so that is all we need to do. It's time to go on to our diagram. How many crosses am I going to need to complete my diagram? We use our phrase, 1 clause, 1 cross, 2 clauses, 2 crosses. If you look on Wednesday, look and see how many clauses you have. You said it was a simple sentence with 1 clause, so we are only going to have 1 cross. What always goes on the left side of the cross? It's always your subject of your sentence. If you look at your Tuesday notes, you'll figure out what to put here. Your subject is cousin. And now we need to figure out what is our primary verb. You're also going to include any helping verbs here. Your primary verb in this sentence is the action verb took. We labeled this on Tuesday. Tuesday is most helpful in filling out our Friday diagram. Do we have a direct object on Tuesday? Yes, we do. To mark a direct object, we're going to make a line that touches our cross. The line should be straight and not slanted. Slanted lines are for predicate adjectives and predicate nominatives. Our direct object is the word trip. I see on Tuesday that we have a prepositional phrase, on the Colorado River. We said that on the Colorado River was describing the verb took. So if it's describing it or modifying it, it goes under the verb took. Prepositional phrases always look like this. On the slanted line, we're going to write our preposition, on. On the straight line, we're going to write our object of the preposition, which is Colorado River. Go ahead and include your capitalization here as well. Finally, we have the. The is an article or a type of adjective. Modifiers go under the word that they describe. The describes Colorado River. We have a couple more describing words. One is a, it's describing the word trip, so a goes under trip. We also have a verb acting as an adjective. This is called a participle. It's a type of verbal. If you look on your Friday diagram notes, you'll see that participles are always marked on a slanted line, and it looks like this. This is just for your notes. It's going to be written at a slant. Notice that slant? It goes under the word that it describes. In this case, the participle is the word rafting. We labeled it on Monday. Rafting describes the word trip. So we're going to make a thing just like a prepositional phrase, and we're going to write our participle starting on the slant and writing it around. Rafting. The word Adele's is a describing word in this case. Even though Adele would normally be a noun, Adele's is describing, it's a possessive noun describing the word cousin. Notice that I capitalized Adele's. For two reasons. It's the start of the sentence and it's a name. We have one word left, recently. We said that recently ends with ly. It modifies the word took. It's an adverb. It's going to go on our slant. Underneath the word took, because it describes the word took. And that's all we have for DGP Week 8.